the point of this sheet is to convince yourself what does square root really mean and remember it. So we start here, 3 squared equals 9 because, well, we know 3 squared means 3 times 3. And 3 times 3 is 9. The same thing here. If we have a negative times negative, negative 3 times negative 3, that makes a positive. Negative 3 times negative 3 also equals 9. So it's also true that negative 3 quantity squared is 9. So if you have an equation x squared equals 9, something squared equals 9, there's actually 2 solutions, 3 and negative 3. And the reason is just the same work that we did above. Now, when we say the square root of 9, we're talking about just the positive square root. So only positive 3. For the same reason, 3 times 3 equals 9, or 3 squared equals 9. Now over here we're going to fill in the square that matches with all these statements we've been writing, which are really repetitive, different ways of saying the same thing. So here, what would the square be that matches all these statements? Well, if I had a side length of 3, then 3 times 3 is 9, and the area would be 9. So the point of doing the square is just to remind you of where this square and square root really comes from. So 3 squared means what's the area when we make a square with side lengths of 3. Now, the next one is very similar, but you're going to fill in a little bit different parts. So something squared equals 25 because, and then something squared equals 25 because. There should be 2 different numbers here. And I bet if you look up at the example here, you can convince yourself of what they are. So give that a try. So you should have gotten 5 and negative 5, because 5 times 5 is 25, and negative 5 times negative 5 is 25. Over here in the area and side length is going to be just like you did over 4, 3, and 9, except with 5 and 25. And this part down here is just like above. So I think you can do the rest on your own.